Hey guys, Brockshield here. This time starting off in Desolus, accepting the quest to get Mark of the Chosen. For this quest, what you'll need to do is complete getting these 5 cons here, with a few of them located outside of the Mauradon dungeon, and some of them located within the dungeon. So you may notice here, my gear is substantially worse, my spell bars, action bars, etc. are totally different, and you just saw me use Holy Shield as well, an ability I don't use right now. That's because these clips are from February, a blast from the past, right after I had just stinged level 60. At that point, I had picked up Uther's Strength as you saw in my first video, and I was looking for what are some of the best upgrades I can get without having to enter raids or spend too much gold. So I identified Mark of the Chosen as one of the proc items that I thought would help me along my pulls. Now if you have seen my current gear upgrade, I no longer use Mark of the Chosen, but I really enjoyed it in the time I did, and I also really enjoyed the process getting it, and I felt these clips were something I wanted to share. So as you see here, we're going through the areas and we're getting all of the cons in order to complete the quest. I appreciated looking back at the past here for a few reasons. Firstly, it's really cool to see just how much of a community the Bloodsail Buccaneer server is. Several of the players I see here I've seen many times over in the months that have passed since this video, as we've all grown stronger together on the server, shared more experiences. It's really cool looking back and seeing just how much we all need each other in World of Warcraft. Nobody can ever accomplish anything alone. And additionally, the power creep you see Brockshield has in the current videos you've seen, as well as the future videos I plan to release. As we bring down the cons here, it's almost time for the next step. We got a nice ding there as well, which was great to see. So with Veng here, the last con, this would mean the completion of the quest as well as the Mark of the Chosen trinket. I still have this trinket in my bank, as I'm thinking of when it might be useful in the future, but either way, it was a very enjoyable process leveling here in Mauradon. Not leveling, I should say, but questing, with the rest of the party leveling. Other than the cons, there are a few other quests that are of interest to most players in Mauradon. Most importantly, or most notably I should say, is the Scepter of Celebros. That item allows you to teleport into the entrance of Mauradon, the inner entrance, saving you time and effort. That's something you'll see later on in the video. For now, I wanted to show some of my beginning pulls in the AoE style that I enjoy so much. Here are some of the non-elite larvae that I just wanted to round up and AoE down. Sure, it's not the entire SFK courtyard solo in one pull, but I had just as much, if not more, fun doing this with the group than I did playing SFK by myself. That's some of the beauty of World of Warcraft, and returning to touch on the secret that I mentioned in my first video, that it isn't about World of Warcraft. Noticing the rogue's ability, the warlock's Rain of Fire, our warrior here dying from the effects of the enemies, gathering all of these elite lashers and vines together for difficult AoE pulls at that time. It was enjoyable just running through the dungeon with the group of people. In this pull you'll see it's going to get a bit difficult as I pulled a bit too much for what my gear could hold at this point in time. You see our paladin healing Z, excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, is so I realize I'm going to need to use Lay on Hands here. And it looks like with that we should be okay for the cleanup for this difficult pull, considering the gear and levels of our party. So you can see, even when I first started off, I knew this is how I wanted to pull dungeons and what I enjoyed in the game over there. So following this, here you'll see the Scepter of Celebras. So following this animation here, you'll be able to read the incantation of Celebras, at which point, after this happens, you speak with him and you receive the scepter. You definitely want to hold on to it, as it'll be very essential for you in terms of zoning into the inner area of Mauradon more quickly. Just another example of the beauty of World of Warcraft and the attention to detail that was put into this game. And there it is, the Scepter of Celebras. Following this, went ahead and turned in the quest to get Mark of the Chosen, a trinket that served me very well for quite a while, until I was finally able to replace it with, as you saw, the Talisman of Ephemeral Power eventually. With this, I now want to take you to show some of my earliest power pulling videos and just how difficult some of those pulls were when I first turned 60. And why I recommend it, if you want to pull in this style, to take your time and understand that the results that you see in my later videos, they took a lot of time, effort, death runs, and a lot of thanks go out to the people in the various guilds like Stardust Crusaders here where I first started, and then Elegance where I am now, and to all the players on Bloodsail Buccaneer server. Because you saw in my last pull all of these mobs just go down like it was nothing. I don't feel any pressure, any stress, and here you can see I didn't understand Odo the Blindwalker's ability. I had none of the gear, the mitigation, the spell power that allowed me to prevent that death there. Next, I want to take you to Gnomeregan in prelude to my future video, where I show just how far Brockshield has come in terms of pulling this dungeon, and why Gnomeregan might be a potential candidate for me in terms of power pulling other players on the server so that they can get experience as well. When you take a look at this clip from February in my previous bad gear, I try and round up all of these mobs which once used to hit me so hard. Here you can see the Mark of the Chosen is already procced, as it procced quite a bit in the time that I used it, as well as there you saw Uther's Strength for a moment. Now these mobs are a bit tricky because the arcane nullifiers have a reflect ability, where for example if I was to cast a Blessing of Wisdom on them, the Wisdom Judgment would come, Judgment of Wisdom, the Judgment effect would land on me. So it's difficult for cast or DPS, though it's not too bad for paladins. That being said, I simply was not able to sustain the damage from this dungeon here. And you can see, try as I might, this pull just isn't going to end successfully. And that's where I want to talk to you about the next video I'm going to release, which is about Gnomeregan. Like I mentioned, I want you to keep this pull in mind for that next video, so you understand just how far Brockshield has come, thanks to all of that help that I was able to receive from everyone across the server, as well as, of course, yes, the efforts that I put in as well. So thank you to everyone there. Good try, Brock, but you're learning. Now, moving here to Blackrock Depths. This is where I was able to get my core fragment in order to zone into Molten Core for the first time. This clip isn't super exciting, but when I look back on my time playing World of Warcraft, I'll always cherish being able to raid 40-man dungeons in Molten Core, and being alongside friends in that dungeon. Who knows what happens in the future when we move to 25-mans, etc., but 40-man raids have been great. With that said, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone in Elegance, the Bloodsail Buccaneer server, and thank you to you for watching the videos. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Light be with you all. Take care. Thank you again.